Here we have black and yellow Big Mom. Now, I will say the color combination does work. Work with me here. There's plenty of yellow cards that do deal with the cost of a character, right? Just like blue and purple, they have cards that they will cost. The problem is the leader ability does not complement the deck. So if you try to make, like Anel's the better Big Mom. Let's just kind of shorthand that real quick. Anel's the better Big Mom, right? Because even though Anel doesn't necessarily per se complement the deck complements Anel, I should say. But like, you have access to your leader ability more guaranteed, right? Where here, you can only do it if you're not only attacking, but have to spend 4 Dawn. You have to have 4 Dawn to use and a card in your hand. And a certain amount of, like the conditions is nuts, right? You gotta meet all these conditions. So, what are you supposed to do? What type of deck you're supposed to make that complements this leader and its ability? These colors don't have great draw power. These colors don't refund Dawn. These colors, aside from black being able to complement yellow, the colors per se don't have anything in particular to work with Big Mom. You could use, like, let's say 7-drop Big Mom, well, more so 10-drop, because 7-drop can be played in any deck. So yeah, you could use a 10-drop Big Mom because you meet the requirements for the 10-drop. But like, when making a deck, it's like trial separated couple living in the same house. You know, they're not really messing with each other. They're together, but they're not really messing with each other. So it's tough. So what I'm saying here is, if you make a deck, you have to make a deck ignoring your leader ability, and it's just kind of ability that's just there, right? And then it's like, well, you're kind of behind now, because the more efficient decks, the leaders in the deck complement each other. They work together, right? So here you're going to have a deck that just kind of ignores the leader ability way more than most, I guess, decks in general. This is not an accessible leader ability. There's too much going on. Too much Dawn requirement, and I understand they didn't want you to be constantly giving yourself life over and over again. I get that. But that Dawn requirement is kind of insane. Plus, you have to attack. So you got to make yourself vulnerable just to, you commit to an attack and then, do what you do. You're eating up 4 Dawn. That's almost half your Dawn. So you can't even combo play it with a 7-drop. You can't even use your leader ability, then summon a 7-drop and essentially gain an extra life. So combo potential is non-existent. Nothing for the most part, nothing's complementing this leader and its ability. It's just the 2 colors. The 2 colors can work together, but the leader and its ability doesn't really complement anything. You need to be low life, so you're already in danger of lethal, basically, just so you can stall the game a little bit longer. You don't add a bunch of cards to your hand, making it more comfortable to start chucking cards. And you don't refund your Dawn to make it more comfortable so you can have better combo plays or at least a better board setup. The leader is just a loner in a sense. You're kind of just there with this ability. So, kind of in a weird way, you're a vanilla with 4 life. Now, yes, you're probably going to use your leader ability at least once in a match. But come on, respectfully, it's like you're a vanilla with 4 life. Now, I will say this. I'm not going to try to insult the deck that much or whatever. I'm not really trying to insult the deck at all. I do know that some people have surprised us. But this is a card game. And the thing about a card game is, sometimes you draw well and sometimes you don't. But when you draw well, does that guarantee the deck is going to be a great deck? No. Is this, a person was drawing well, and no discredit to anybody that topped with the deck or whatever. Just work with me here. Work with me here. I'm trying to say, of course, you can show something spectacular with just certain decks and certain builds. You're going to have a nice moment of, wow, this looks great. And then you try to take that and you play and you're like, this doesn't seem as good as what it looked like on YouTube or whatever. That's kind of what I'm trying to articulate here. It's I don't even know what can be done for this leader to truly compete with everybody. That's just kind of what I'm saying here. There's not much to say. Once again, the leader ability is not very accessible. Impactful, I don't know. that's up to y'all, because I know gaining a life is annoying, but
The only thing I could say is just remove that extra 2 Dom. I mean, I would go as far to say maybe even removing the trash 1, but that's just that would just make the deck overall broken, because you already see how Anel could be a problem. So I feel like if Lin Lin had that whole just two, not 4 when attacking, she could be a problem. But I would say the trashing 1 would make her balanced.
You just gave me an idea. I would go out my way to say, let's say there's no trash a card, but she requires 5 Don. And, whether you Don X5 or you Don X3, rest 2, but like, you look at Soul Pocus and stuff like that, it's a 5-drop event, right? That determines whether you can get a life or not. And a 4-life leader ability, guaranteeing myself a life, but requiring 5 Don to do so, when I'm at 1 or less life, I think that can work, because that would stop the player from being able to make abusive plays, right? It's like, maybe you can gain a life, play a blocker for the most part, But I want to say overall, eating half your Don to gain, or why not? Let's jump into 6, right? It's a leader ability that you're gonna have access to, and I'm sure people are like, nah, every turn I just keep using 5 Don. But if you kind of like choke what the player is even allowed to do in that turn, and the opponent is just being very aggressive, it kind of won't matter that they can even do that, because now you have to 100% make sure you get blockers, because you're not gonna be able to summon anything. But yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows what we'll see in the future for Black Yellow Charlotte Lin Lin. But as of right now, it is what it is.